I'm gonna go with what are some of the most common mistakes beginner breakers make. So we've all at some point been a beginner in competitive breaking. So can we each like maybe chime in on one or two things that maybe either we made mistakes on or we see other breakers make when they first start, and maybe we can give them a little tips on that. So let's start with Larry this time.
Probably setup. I feel like the setup is so important, and I see so many times when I go do seminars that their setup is just not as precise as I like mine to be. It's a skill that a good breaker has a good setup. I guess the other thing that I see, and I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes by saying all this, but the other thing is ego. You know, I, so many years. I mean, one year in particular, my first year, I set up. I went to the backstage and they said, "How many bricks do you need?" And I said 14. And they go, "You only know you can hit it one time." And I'm like, "Yes, I know that. I can break." And I was kind of trying to be conservative with it and went out there, set up my 14 and blew them. And then behind me were getting more bricks so that they could win. And they weren't doing the same technique they were practicing in the back. They switched to my technique, which I could tell they had rarely ever done it, if ever done it. And their egos got ahead of them. And I feel like we need to know what we're going to be able to break, and or have an idea, and not just throw a giant number up there, which makes it really extremely hard when you're a good power breaker. When you think, oh, I can break 30, and you can't break 30. You can maybe break, you know, 16 or 17. So I think that our egos and setups are probably the two things that I see where people make the biggest mistakes.
Yeah,